Yeah. So you guys are practice that move, copy, move, and remove commands, right? That command changing also. Raghu, are you practicing Raghu, Ishwar, Mahesh, Vishal?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Uday Hemanta. Uday Hemant edi? Uday?
Hello.
Yeah, Uday Hemant మనోడు జాయిన్
Evening,
అవ్వలేదే?
sir.
యా యా హేమంత్
హేమంత్
ఏడి?
అక్కడ ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ లో లేడు సార్, అక్కడే ఉంటాడు కదా.
ఇక్కడ రాలేదు ఈరోజు.
అవునా? ఏమో సార్, కాల్ చేయలేదు ఇవాళ.
అవునా ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్ రాలేదే నువ్వు?
కానీ నేను వస్తా సార్, చిన్న ప్రాబ్లం ఉంటుండే ఇంట్లో.
హ్మ్.
అమ్మమ్మకి హెల్త్ బాగాలే. ఇట్లా ఫ్యామిలీ ఇష్యూ ఉంటుండే సార్, హాస్పిటల్ దగ్గర ఉన్నాం.
ఓకే ఓకే.
Yes.
యప్ నో దిస్. Yeah. So what we are discussing today, we are discussing about the user administration. So right, what is user administration? So in which user you are logging to, you are logging? So you are logging as a which user, guys? So you are logging as a which user? Raghu, Mahesh,
Root user.
root user. Did you install the OS? VMware OS?
చేశానండి.
చేసావా?
చేశాను.
Hmm. Raghu, what about you?
హలో,
Yeah,
సారీ.
Raghu,
ఆ,
OS install చేసావా? VMware.
చేశాను.
Okay. Ishwar,
చేశాను చేశాను
hmm?
చేశాను.
Done na? Vishal, you also installed, Vishal?
ఇన్స్టాల్.
Vishal, are you able to hear? So Uday done na OS installation.
हाँ सर, यस सर.
Off. So 1 second. Sorry, someone came. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So this is our VM. This is a virtual machine. Okay. installed a Windows 9. Okay, CentOS 9. So you are trying to connect as a so this is a Linux is a what Linux guys? Linux is a single user operating system or multi user operating system. Single user or multi user guys. Guys, Linux is a single user operating system or a multi user operating system.
It's a multi-user application.
Yeah, multi-user operating system. So multiple people can connect this operating system, right? Yeah. How many users we can create on this Linux machine? How many users? So we can create. So how many users we can create? So we can create a 60,000 users. How many users? 60,000 users we can create. 60,000 users and 60,000 groups we can create it. 60,000 users and 60,000 groups, so 60,000 users and 60,000 groups. So we can create it, right? So we have two types of users. One is administrator user and the other one is normal users. How many users? What are the so the users should be two types. One is administrator user and the other one is normal users, right? Super user. So who is the super user, guys? Who is the
Root,
super user?
root user is the super user.
Very good. Root user is the super user. So who are the normal users? Hari, Raghu, Mahesh. These all are the normal users, right? So Mahesh, okay. So Uday, Ishwar, and Vishal. These all are the normal users. These all are the normal users and super users. So the root user, super user, right? So every user having their own ID. What is that? ID. ID is nothing but a so ID is nothing but a identification. Identification. So what is that? If it is a user, UID. If it is a group, GID. So what is that? So UID is nothing but a user ID. GID is nothing but a group ID. So every user having their own ID and every group having their own group ID. So what is the UID of the group? UID, GID of the group user. What is the UID and GID of the user? What is the UID and GID of the user? What is UID and what is GID, guys? GID is nothing but UID, GID, user IDs. Red Hat ID. So what is the UID, guys? UID of the root is 0 and the GID of the GID is equal to root. Groups equal to 0. Groups equal to 0. This is the groups. This is the group ID. This is the UID. What is the UID? UID is 0 and the GID is 0 for root user. What is that? 0. UID is 0. Right, we can create a 60,000 users. So we can create a 60,000 users, right? Yeah. So 0 to 999 system related users itself using the 0 to 999. So from 1000 onwards, it will use the normal users. So who are the normal users? 1000 equal to Hari, 1001 equal to Raghu, 1002 equal to Mahesh, Uday equal to 1003, Ishwar equal to 1004, Vishal equal to 1005. Is understood? So these are like the 1000, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, right? Same like as it. So 0 to 999, the system itself uses the system related users. So what are the system related users? Cat slash etc past. You see here. So Demand to ADM3, LP, sync, shutdown, halt, mail, operator, games, so FTP user, okay, system users, SSHD, so Crony, SSHD, SSH, Apache, right? So Apache, so these are the 1000. What is that? So you see, so 0 is the root user, and up to 999 there is a system related users. System related users from 1000 onwards. So we can use the normal users UID. From 1000 onwards, we can use the normal users UIDs. The system related users are something like a SBIN, SBIN no login. So, and the normal users having the bin bash. What is bin bash, guys? So, bash is nothing but a born again shell. The normal user able to interact with shell. So, this is nothing but a bin bash. So, SBIN no login. No login means no shell. No shell. So if you are not having a shell, user unable to access the mission. User unable to access the mission. User is unable to access the mission. Okay. Yeah. 1 second, I will tell. So what is that? The users. So from 1000 to 60,000. Group also same, guys. Group also. So from 1000 to from 1000 to 60,000 we can use it, guys. So what is that? All users UID or GID starts from 1000 by default. What is that? So by default, all users UID GID starts from 1000 by default. All UIDs, all user IDs and GIDs, all UIDs and GIDs, normal user, all UIDs and GIDs starts from 1000 by default. UID GIDs are we can create 60,000. Okay, so 0 to 999 system itself uses root is the 0. So from 1000 to 60,000 all general user uses from 1000 to 60,000. Okay, so now you understood how many users we can create? We can create 60,000 users. So UID comma GID 60,000. Okay, so 0 to 999 system itself uses What is this? 1,000 to 16,000 all general users. All general uses. Okay. What is that? So for a user account, so primary group is mandatory. Primary group is mandatory. So for an user account, so primary group is mandatory. Mandatory. So if you are not assigned to any group, if you are not assigned to any group, user himself behaves as a what is that case? For a user account, so for a user account, primary group is mandatory. If you are not assigned to any group, user himself behaves as a group. Same like as a root, right? So what is that ID? So root having the UID. This is the UID. GID is nothing but a group, primary group. If you are not assigning any group, user himself behaves as a group. Root behaves as a group. ID Hari. So if you are not assigning any group to the Hari, so that user himself behaves as a group. User himself behaves as a group. If you are not assigning to any group, user himself behaves as a group. Understood? User himself behaves as a group. So the group information will be available under cat/etc cat/etc group. This is the group. So what is that? So if you are not assigned any created any not created attached to the any root primary group, right? Root assigned as a primary group. Okay, Hari. So Hari is not assigned to any primary group. Then himself behaves as a group. Himself behaves as a group. How to create the group? Group add command. What is the command, guys? Group add command. Group add to create a system group for a user. Maybe it may be primary or secondary, maybe a primary or a secondary group. Okay, and all groups all groups information available. All group information available /etc group. Where is that? So all the group information will be available under the /etc group. So all information will be available under the /etc group. Understood, guys? Yeah. So what is that group? Group add group name. So group add. So what is the syntax? Syntax is group add. What is that? Group add name. So we can assign a primary group. Group add -g GID. So you can specify the primary group GID group name. You can provide the group name. So what is the example, guys? Example is something like a group add DevOps. Group add DevOps. Group add -g 1010 So Linux engineer. What is that? So group add Linux engineer. So what is a group, guys? So group is nothing but so for example, DevOps group. What is the group, guys? Group is nothing but a DevOps. So DevOps group. So in this DevOps group, what are the people you added? So you added the people like Hari, Prabhu, Prabhu. You added these two in the DevOps group. Other group is Linux engineer group or AWS cloud engineer. So what is that? So cloud engineer group. So in this cloud engineer group, so what are the people are there? So what are the people? Vishal, Ishwar, Lourdes. These three are related to cloud engineer group and these two are related to DevOps group. So whatever the permissions you gave it to the DevOps group, right? The same permissions will add to the users also. So no need to give the particular permission to the user. Whatever the permissions you provided to you gave it to the user group, right? The same permissions will add it to the same permissions. So we'll add it to the users. So that's the reason. So something like if you create a group and add the permission to that group, right? So for example, 100 people are there. So in the DevOps group. So it is very difficult to give the each and every user to give the permissions. If you give the permissions to a group, right? So it automatically assign the same permissions to the particular users in that group. In that group. Right? Understood? Yeah. So, for example, DevOps group, cloud engineer group, or something like Linux engineer group. How many groups we have? Linux engineer. So, for example, this is the you set as a user add, user add. So, small g, DevOps, capital G, Linux engineer, comma, cloud engineer. So, Linux engineer, comma, cloud engineer. Okay. Which one? For example, user is Hari. So a Hari user having a primary group. What is this? So the primary group. So what is the primary group of a Hari? So the primary group Hari is related to primary group. Which primary group? The primary group is DevOps. So Hari is related to DevOps is the primary group. So this is the primary group, and these two are the what is this? These two are the secondary groups. These two are the secondary groups. So, right, sir. Every user. So for an user account, primary group is mandatory. Every user primary group is mandatory. If you are not assigned to any group or user, any group himself behaves as a group. So that's the reason you must and should assign. So add the primary group, and you can assign any number of secondary groups. So the primary group is mandatory, and the you can add any number of secondary groups. You can add any number of secondary groups. Guys, understood? Something like more info on slash etc group slash etc group or grep HR DevOps slash etc group. Okay. So what is that? Grep I DevOps slash etc slash etc group. There is no DevOps. Yeah, having group is there. If the group is not there, you can add the group add -g 10 DevOps, and that slash etc. Okay, so how many users we have added? How many groups we have created? So we have created the DevOps group and the Cloud Engineer group and the Linux Engineer group. So Linux Engineers groups. Okay. So what are the fields in the group? Okay. More slash etc slash etc group. So what are the fields in the group? Okay. So what is the first one? Group name GAD. Secondary secondary group members. Secondary group members. Okay. So what is that? So this is the group name. What is the GAD 1012 and X is nothing but a password and secondary group numbers. If you have any secondary group numbers, uh, DevOps, Cloud Engineer, Cloud Engineer. So these all are the secondary group members. This is the GAD and this is the group name. This is the group name. Yes, now you understood? Yeah. So what is the next? Next is users. So next is users. So how many users we can create? We can create the 60,000 users. We can create so from 1,000 to 60,000 users. Now you understood the right how to create the group or how to create a group. So either primary group or secondary group. So we can assign DevOps as a primary group or a secondary group. Cloud engineer is a primary group or a secondary group, or a DevOps engineer or Linux engineer is a primary group or secondary group. Okay. So for example, Hari, DevOps is primary. So that Linux and cloud is the secondary. Raghu, Linux is the primary. DevOps and AWS is the secondary. The same like as so you can give it. The same like as you can give it. Okay. What is that? User creation. User creation. So how to create the user? By using the user add command. So we can create the users. So we can create the users. Okay. User add. To create a user account. What is that? User ID is nothing but a, so we can create the to create a new user account. So how to create the user ad guys? So what are the users? You see. So what is the where the users are available? Cat slash etc passwd. In this file, the users are created. So which file guys? So cat slash etc passwd. Cat slash etc passwd. Okay. Syntax. User options. So user add options, user name. So what are the options, guys? The options are hyphen u. What is your UID? You need to set the UID. Hyphen G, small g, primary, primary root code. So we can create this user as a primary group. Primary group is mandatory, right? That's the reason. Hyphen G is nothing but a primary group. Hyphen capital G is nothing but a secondary group. Hyphen D is nothing but a home DAR. Hyphen C is nothing but a home and hyphen H is nothing but a shell. Hyphen S is nothing but a shell. So you can view hyphen U is nothing but a user ID, hyphen G is nothing but a primary group ID, secondary group ID, home directory, comment, shell. What is that? Comment and shell. Okay. So whenever you create a user, the user details, are going to store under /etc possibility under /etc possibility database file and users passwords are going to store under /etc shadow /etc shadow database file. Whenever you create a user, the user code details are going to store under the /etc password database file, and the user passwords are going to store under the /etc shadow. What is that? So the user details are stored under the cat/etc passwd. So in the /cat/etc passwd, the user details will be stored under the cat/etc passwd. cat/etc passwd. Okay. So the password information, the user password information will be shadow file. What is the file, guys? So this is the password information. What is that? The shadow file. What is the file? /etc shadow for password, user password information. User information in the /etc password. Okay. /etc password. Okay. So what is this? This is a shell, right? /etc shadow. So sorry, password this is. Yeah, you see, so all the system related users are has been no login, and the normal users having the bin bash. What is the root? Root having the bin bash? Again, normal user having the bin bash. So what is that bash? Bash is nothing but a shell. What is bash, guys? Bash is nothing but a shell. What is that? Shell. You already know, right? So which shell Linux is working on? Guys, which shell?
Bash.
Echo dollar
Dollar. Shell.
shell. Echo is the print statement. What is that? Echo is the print statement. You are providing the dollar. So dollar is nothing but a reading. So what is the shell? Shell is the bin bash shell. So that's the reason this is the bash shell. So you already know the what is shell, right? So you already know the what is a shell. So what is a shell is, guys? You use it to interact with the system, right? How to interact with your system? To bash, to shell only, right? To shell. So to know how many shells are available, how many shells are available? So /etc shells. So you can use the cat /etc shells. cat slash etc shells and bin bash is the default shell for all Linux. So flavors has been unlocked is a special shell is a special cell which gives no interaction with the system. Nice. So generally all service user accounts all all service user accounts are assigned assigned with no login shell. With the has been no login is a special cell which gives the no interaction with the system. Generally, all the service user accounts are assigned with the no login shell. So what is that? So these all are the has been no login, has been no login, has been no login, has been no login, has been no login. So has been no login is a special cell which is no interaction with the system. Generally, all service user accounts are assigned with the has been no login shell. So has been no login shells. Guys, understood? Grep no login. Grep no login slash etc slash rwd to see the users list with the no login shell. To see the users in login. Yeah. Okay, to check with the no login shell. Right, guys. Petra. Hmm. Hey guys. So echo dollar shell to know the working shell. We already know, right? So grep has been no login. Yeah, guys. So grep has been no login, etc. So it will see the users with no login shell, right? Cat slash etc past wd grep file connect no login. You see, these all are the no login shells. These all are the no login shells. Users are created, but these users are unable to log into the shell. These users are unable to log into the shell. This understood? So echo, we already know, right? Echo dollar shell, right? To move. to know work in shell. Okay, to know work in shell. To assign password for the user. So to know password for the user account. How to create the password? How to create the password? Pass WD username. What is that, guys? The syntax is pass WD. Syntax is pass WD username. How to create the user? So how to create the user add options username. Okay, I will show you how to create the users. So how to assign the password to the user, passwd username, passwd username, and the other command is passwd options username. What are the options, guys? Options hyphen L is nothing but a log the password. Log the password. Hyphen U is nothing but a log the password. Hyphen D delete the password. Hyphen capital S is nothing but a status. So hyphen capital S is nothing but a status. So what is this? Delete the password, right? So something like a passwordless login. What is this? Passwordless login. Okay. So how to create the users? Example. Creation of a user add. So for example, user one. What is this? Normally, so without options, we are creating a user one. User add hyphen u. You are providing a UID, particular UID to your user two. Right? This is nothing but a particular UID. You are providing a particular UID to the user. So user add hyphen u UID. What is the UID? 1010 username user two. Okay. So the third user is user add hyphen G. G is nothing but a primary to primary group to which user? User 3. Okay. User add hyphen G DevOps or something like a capital G secondary group. I'm adding secondary group as a Linux engineer. User 4. I'm adding user 4 to the Linux engineer. User add hyphen G as a DevOps. DevOps hyphen capital G as a cloud engineer. Cloud engineer. User 5. Okay. So I'm creating a user add hyphen S has been no login user 6. I'm creating a user 6 as a has been no login user add hyphen C TP user hyphen S is nothing but a hyphen C is nothing but a comment. Hyphen C is nothing but a comment. Hyphen S is nothing but a shell. So hyphen C, if this is FTP user, hyphen S is nothing but a has been no login. Has been no login. User 7. Guys, understood? So first user he created as a without UID. The second user he created as a with UID. The third user he created as a DevOps as the primary group for the user 3. So this here user 2 is the primary group and user 1 is the primary group because of you are not setting up the primary group for user 1 and user 2. So user 3 you set as a primary group and so user 4 you set the secondary group for user 4. Here user 5 we set the primary group as well as secondary group for user 5. So here So has been no login. There is no user created, but is unable to access the user. So user add -c is nothing but FTP user. This is the comment section, and -s is nothing but has been no login user one. Has been no login user one. Okay. So there is no users, right? Now let's see. User add user one. User add ID user one. Cat slash etc passwd file program only user one. Right. So user one created as a bin bash and home user one and the 101 is the group ID. So this is the 101 is the user ID, 101 is the group ID. So this is the user one. So this is the user one. Understood, right? Yeah, ID is so 1001. The next user add user to particular URID hyphen u. So 1010. Okay, particular to 1010. So you see, user 2 is created, ID user 2. So you see 1010, the same user 2. So it's created as a 1013 because of that 1012 1010 user ID is created already. Group ID is created. Okay, so next user and hyphen G DevOps user 3. So ID user 3. You see here 1010 DevOps. This user is assigned to the primary group of a DevOps. What is that? So this user, Hari user is the user 3 is created as a primary group as a DevOps, secondary group as a cloud engineer. If you provide, if you attach, so it will. Okay. So what is that user 4? So user 4. So we are assigning a Linux engine. ID user 4. ID user 4. You see? So it's added as a secondary group. It's added as a secondary group. Okay. User add icon G DevOps. Secondary group as a cloud engineer for user ID user 5. So user ID user 5. So this is primary group is DevOps, secondary group is Linux engineer. Okay. Hyphen C is nothing but a comment. What is that? FTP user. So FTP user hyphen S has been logged for user 6. So okay, ID user 6. Yeah. So ID user 6. Now cat slash etc passwd. The information are user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, user 5, user 6. So user 6 having the has been no login, user 1 having the pin bash. Let's try to connect with user 1 and user 6. So we need to provide the password, right? So how to add the password? Passwd user 1 red hat red hat. Okay, what is the password for user 6? Red hat red hat. Okay, so I'm trying to connect duplicate session user 1 red hat. Okay, user 1 able to connect. Let's try with the let's try with the user 6. red hand. You see, I'm unable to log into the user 6. Unable to log into the user 6 because of user 6 having the bin bash. So user 6 having the bin bash has been no logging. So user 6 having the has been no logging. So user 1 has in the bin bash. So that's the reason user 1 having a bin bash. So user 6 having the bin bash. So that's the reason bin bash. If you have the bin bash, able to access that, able to connect it because of it, we have a shell access. So yes, been no login. So there is a no login access. We are unable to access this one. Yes, understood? So can you please create a one user and give me the permissions for that user? Then we have chance to get idea on it. Yeah, I created right now. Are you able to access? Raghu?
Yeah, sir. I got it.
Got it right?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. So we'll continue from the one. Okay.